Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi there.
Wait, can they tell the difference? Do they know that one of us is missing?
Yeah, I'm pretty, well, I don't know.
It's you and Leah they can't tell the difference between.
Right. So this is Megan here with Amy. We do not have Leah with us tonight, but we
almost did.
She's here with us in spirit.
We almost had her in accident, but the universe is too good to her.
We gotta talk about what happened with Leah today, okay?
And she knows that we are gonna shit talk her to the end.
I already told her I cannot wait to roast her on the podcast when she's not here to defend herself, because I don't know what her defense could be. So we get a message in our Slack today. Well, no, actually, let's start from the beginning. She's going.
What? It was supposed to be just the two of us today.
Correct. It was always supposed to be just the two of us. Because she was flying to Hawaii with her son today.
To have like a few day layover before they then head to Australia. Like they were going to like frat boy it up in Hawaii and then go to Australia.
Correct. And then she messages us and she's like, on Slack, and she's like, oh, hey, so
I feel like we should read it because it's so good.
Yeah. She goes, want a fun story I can share on the pod. So I get to the airport this morning with her son. On my way, my mom and dad, who are here to pet sit, were like, did you check in online? And Leah said, I was like, nah, chillin'. I'll just do it there.
You already know where this is going, right, listeners? You know where this is going.
I know where this is going because it's Leah. We roll up to the gate and they are like, hey, are you trying to catch that Maui flight? And Leah's like, nah, just going to Honolulu. And they were like, there are no more of those. And she's like, what? And then she gets the BTS alert that Jungkook is going live. So she's trying to focus on both things at once. She says, I misread my ticket. When I thought we took off is when we landed.
In Honolulu.
So she gets to the airport and is like, hey, I'm here for my flight. And they're like, it's in the air right now, you dumb
over the Pacific Ocean.
They didn't call her a dum-dum, but I kind of am. So they're like, sorry, we can give you a refund, but like you literally missed your flight and there's no other flights. I don't know which airline this is. It doesn't matter because it's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault.
It's not the airline's fault. So she's like, all right, fine. Give me my refund. And so she books tickets on Southwest out of Oakland. So then she has to go to the Oakland airport. And her son is she said, is slightly dying, which I'm sure is more than that. So she says she's watching the last 20 minutes of the Jungkook live, in the passenger seat as she's getting a ride to the Oakland airport. And my favorite is that Amy's like, why is the universe rewarding you? Why you
always she loses her phone, passport, whatever. And she gets rewarded for it because they found another flight. And we're way early for it and are still going to get into Honolulu tonight.
It's not okay. She should not be rewarded for this.
It's not okay.
It's not
Universe.
Okay.
It's not okay. Leah needs to learn.
She will not learn her lesson if the universe keeps doing this. If the universe keeps rewarding her and getting her out of jams, she's never going to learn.
She's like, I never would have seen Jungkook's live if this didn't happen.
She's like, bright side. And I was like, Leah, I'm sorry, but for once, I don't care about Jungkook. I care that you are having issues. I care about this. I care
she got a full refund too. She missed her flight, and they're like, "Here's your money back
and your miles."
Yes,
because she basically I think she didn't even pay for the flight. I think she just
it was miles.
Yeah, she just bought it on miles. They're like, "Here are your miles back." That's wild. Why does this happen to her? It's not okay.
And truth time, no, do I want her to miss her trip and be stuck? No, I don't. No. I don't. But how is she going to learn?
She's never gonna learn. She still won't check in.
She said she wouldn't. She said she wasn't going to check in online because she had bags to check. I always check in on the app, even if I have bags to check, because you prepay and then you just slide them over when you get there.
I have to be dead honest with you. I thought you had to. I thought you always had to check in ahead of time. I just thought that's what you always had to do.
You don't have to, but like I do, because flights are always oversold, and like I don't want to take any chances.
That's another thing. Flights are like, what is happening? Like, why is her Mercury never in retrograde? You know what I mean? Like, if that happened to me, well, no. You know what?
It wouldn't happen to you.
No, the universe punished me going to Scotland, and I didn't do anything wrong. I checked in ahead of time. I did everything right, and the universe punished me for 48 hours. Leah does everything wrong, and the universe is like, it's okay. We're still going to fly you to Hawaii.
Today, on the same day that you missed your flight.
Because you read the time wrong on your ticket.
Who reads the arrival time as the time I need to get to the airport?
That's exactly what she did. She was supposed to get there in Hawaii at 10:50, and she thought
that was when her flight was leaving.
This is wild. Like, so here's the thing. If like,
Leah, we love you. We love you.
No, we do love you.
But this angers me.
This drives me insane. Like, if you're going to rate the three of us on like a type A scale, Amy's number one.
I'm first. I'm
like, absolutely. Yeah. I'm like second. And then Leah's like 1,536. Like, she's not even like on the like scale of us. Thing is though, she has OCD. She's like diagnosed with OCD, but like her OCD that's why people
not with this stuff,
but not clearly about checking in on her flight. Like, Leah, I don't know what to say. I love you. I'm glad that I think she's probably flying right now.
I joked with her that like she would probably be able to make the pod tonight because
we're like, when it got
delayed, because then it got delayed, and she's like, Jara's so mad.
Yeah. Of course.
Because they couldn't even check their bags because the flight doesn't like exist yet. Like, they had to sit with their bags.
Oh my God.
So you can't go to the gate if you can't check your bag, right? Like, you've got to stay in departures.
Yeah, you have to stay before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. I wasn't even thinking about that. So they're like hanging out in like
they're just
the
like
lobby.
On a bench in departures, probably. Yeah. Like a metal bench in departures.
And she's fine because she's just watching Jungkook live stuff. Jara's like angry. I can just picture it. Oh my God.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. Because
life just works out.
Like, if that was me, it wouldn't work. Like, I just don't understand how that always works out for her, because that wouldn't work out for me. It just wouldn't.
No.
If I did that. I'm so paranoid about flying. Like, flying. So I have anxiety, and my anxiety like fixates on certain things. It's probably like Leah's OCD. It like fixates on certain things, and flying is one of the things that my anxiety latches onto like nothing else. So, I mean, I can't even tell you how much I check my ticket, how I get to the airport like 2.5 hours before boarding, not even before the flight leaves, before boarding. Like, that's how paranoid I am. I remember when her and I went to New York together, it didn't matter like that she's so like laissez-faire about traveling, because our trip wasn't like we didn't even have like tickets ready. Like, we were just very free with our trip. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. You didn't have anything like booked.
Except the hotel.
Right.
And Leah realizes 2 days before we leave that she never booked the hotel. I don't know if we ever told you that. She's like, oopsie, she told me what hotel to book.
Well, and she booked it, and then you booked it, and then she didn't?
And like, first of all, she said, you don't have to book this hotel. This is where I'm staying. And she's like, but you can stay wherever you want. I was like, no problem, but I'm just going to book where you're staying. And she's like, okay, sounds good. 2 days before we leave, she's like, oh, by the way, I never booked the hotel. I was like, Leah, this is the one you...
Was there a room for her there?
Yes. Luckily, she was able to get a room, but like, I'm like, Leah, you're the one who told me to book.
I don't understand. I don't.
Then she's like, where'd I tell you again? Oh,
she doesn't know.
I don't think she remember. It was so bad. It was so funny.
I'm gonna have nightmares about.
I know
these things.
I'm telling you, she just flies by the sole of her Birkenstocks. I just so like that one.
If I get to the airport only 90 minutes ahead, I'm stressed.
Same.
Because I'm like, I don't know what security is going to be like. I have TSA pre-check now. I didn't used to have that, but I have that now. But still, like I'm stressed. I am stressed until I'm sitting at the gate. And the plane's
I have to see my gate.
And the plane's not even at the jetway yet because I want it. Yeah.
I am so, like I said, flying is like, I don't even know. It just,
I won't even stop for a snack until I go to the gate first and make sure that everything is still status
quo. The gate has to be there. What if something happened and it got like sucked into a black hole? I need to know. So I got to go check it out.
Oh my God.
I know. And by the way, if she was here right now, we'd be saying all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. She knows. She knows that we were going to lose our shit about.
Yeah, because I even said, I cannot wait to drag you when you're not there to defend yourself. That's exactly what I said. And that was fun. I had a fun time doing that.
Yes. And so, I said, I'm like, I've never looked more forward to banter than tonight. And it did not disappoint because I'm glad that we both feel the same way.
Oh my God. I know.
Shit. Holy shit. I hope they're enjoying their flight right now.
Me too.
On their way to Honolulu. I'm really, really excited. They're staying. I still don't really understand where she's staying because I asked if it was like a youth hostel and she said no, it's like worse.
Yeah,
which I don't know what can be worse than a youth hostel because she's like youth hostel like implies like rooms and beds.
Yeah, I was like, so are you on the floor?
It's like a backpacker.
Yeah,
stop. I don't even know.
Sounds fun. I guess
it does not. I am, for a lot of things, I don't feel like I'm an adult, but when I travel, I'm like, I want a hotel room. It doesn't have to be fancy, but I want my own room with my own bathroom and like a chain on the door.
Yeah. So when my daughter had this field hockey, the first year she had this field hockey tournament down in Virginia. So obviously I had it was just her and me because my husband was with my son at a soccer tournament. Because this is our lives. But anyway. And all these parents were kind of like getting together saying who wants to share a room, like meaning like parents from like different families.
Oh my God, I remember this.
And I was like, no one better ask me. So I purposely booked a room with a king bed. And so, and then I was like, okay, because now no one can try and share with me. And like, I mean, I don't mean to be, but like, look, it wouldn't be enjoyable for anyone. You don't want to. I don't want to share it with you. You don't want to share with me. Like I'm helping you out too. I snore. Like you don't.
Like I need my space. Like I am an extroverted introvert, and I can go all day and I can be with the people, and that's great. But then I need to go into my shell for the evening. And this is like a good example of this is last year when I met up with Afternoona Army, Allison and Tanya in Denver to see the Rose. Like best weekend. So great. Allison's brother lives in Denver and she and Tanya were staying there and she offered for me to stay there too. I mean, they were like on blow up mattresses on the floor. Like they were all over the place.
You're like, no, I get a hotel.
Nice. And her brother and like has kids. Like it was it was a family.
Yeah.
I was offered a free place to stay with people that I adore. Like, do not get me wrong, with people that I adore. And I said, that's okay.
That's okay.
I would get a hotel.
I'd be like, I get a hotel.
I'll get a hotel.
Nothing against other people. It's like,
no, I can't. Like, I need my own bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it comes down to is I need my own bathroom.
I just want my own space. I think
and my own bed.
But well, and then all the other parents, because I like told one of them, I was like, look, I booked a king room because I'm not sharing with anyone. And then they all like they teased me about it for the rest of the trip. Like they were really funny about it. They're like, I don't care if you don't want to share, Megan. But they just thought it was hysterical that I booked a king bed on purpose.
So that nobody could be in your room.
No one could.
Sorry, I have a king. Can't fit anybody.
I was like, sorry. Oh my God. I don't know.
No.
I also, a big reason too, like my daughter's very similar to me. And I know that in theory, she thinks she wants to share a room, but she doesn't. I know her. She doesn't want to share a room. She shares a room with her cat, and that's it.
I've been divorced for 7 years now, and
yeah,
isn't that crazy? I've been divorced for 7 years, and I live with my kids. Like I have a daughter in college, but like when she's home, I live with her, and I have a son who's still in high school, and I love them and I adore them. The point is I'm not opposed to like finding a partner again someday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to live with them.
No.
I don't.
Mm-mm. If something happens to Neil, I will not live with someone else. Are you kidding me? No way. No way.
I love it way too much. Speaking of partners.
Yeah. I mean, as far as segues go, I guess.
I mean, speaking of
people who can't live together,
who shouldn't live together.
That's the characters from this drama.
Right. Can't live together, can't live apart. Yes. Today we were talking about the highly anticipated drama, The Trunk. Netflix drama, 8 episodes, short and sweet. Let's start with the big question here about The Trunk. Why did we watch it?
You answer first.
I mean, there's one reason and one reason only, and it's Gong Yoo. Like, that's the only reason. I don't think I would have been interested in the story or the trailer if it hadn't been him in it. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't have been a good drama without him. I'm just saying the only reason I watched it is because of him. Because there's so many dramas out there. I watched this for Gong Yoo.
Yeah. So there were so many good romance, I would say My Sweet Mobster and No Gain, No Love were absolutely spectacular romance K-dramas that came out this year. So I kind of had my romance fix, and I also had just finished watching Mr. Plankton, which completely caved in a hole in my chest. And then
go listen to our Mr. Plankton longest episode we've ever done.
Yeah, and then it filled it back up. I love best drama probably of the year for me. So I was in the mood for something kind of like suspenseful and twisty, and I didn't need a romance because it didn't seem like it was going to be a romance, and I was okay with that. I thought the trailer was pretty cool. I wouldn't say it got me like super hyped, but I was fairly excited for something different and unique. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not quite as loyal to Gong Yoo as you are, but I'm still pretty loyal. And so I wanted to see what I needed to we needed
a palate cleanser from Silent Sea.
Well, yeah, I needed a redemption after Silent Sea. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, redemption.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll get to my feelings on my present feelings on Gong Yoo later. So, as always, we're going to start by being as non-spoilery as possible, but this is a short drama, so we're going to go pretty quickly through the non-spoiler section. So, The Trunk is a 2024 drama starring Gong Yoo and Seo Hyun-jin. It's only 8 episodes, so it's a quickie, even though it might feel longer. Sorry, not sorry. Here are a couple of the synopses to give you an idea of what you're getting into when hunkering down for The Trunk. Megan, would you like to read the Asian Wiki synopsis?
Sure. No In-ji, played by Seo Hyun-jin, works for contract marriage provider NM. The company provides its clients with a spouse for a fixed-term 1-year contract marriage. No In-ji has finished her 4th contract marriage. She meets Hong Jung-won, played by Gong Yoo, for her 5th contract marriage. Han Jung-won works as a music producer. His life is filled with anxiety and loneliness due to the pain from his past. He still badly misses his ex-wife, So-yeon, who applied for the spouse providing company NM for him. Han Jung-won meets No In-ji from NM, and he begins his 2nd marriage with her. They get to know each other and get used to each other as time passes. One day, a mysterious trunk is recovered from a lake. This leads them into a whirlwind of secrets behind the NM company. Oh, I don't. It
was going okay for a little bit, I thought, but then like the random thrown in of the trunk.
Yeah, I don't like that synopsis at all.
Here's Netflix.
Okay.
One line, like log line. A secret marriage service is uncovered when a trunk washes up on the shore, revealing the strange marriage between a couple in the thick of it all. It's a little bit more to the point. You still don't know what the hell's happening.
That makes it sound a little bit more cohesive than it actually was. Okay, I swear we're not going to just hate on this drama. Just FYI, if you loved it, bear with us.
Please.
I think. Yeah, we have things to say.
We didn't love it, but we didn't hate it.
Correct.
So we're just going to talk about it.
I feel like we need to talk about it.
Yeah. So what were your expectations for the drama prior to watching? And did the drama meet, exceed, or fall short of your expectations?
I would say my expectations were kind of high. I felt like there was a lot of promo that had really ramped up around the trunk right before it released, which always is a good thing. Like they really, like, I think Netflix also really pushed Mr. Plankton. That turned out to be fantastic. So I was kind of like hopeful, I guess I would say. I just wanted something twisty and that kept me at the edge of my seat. That is what I wanted. I wanted something that kind of was, I didn't need action, but I wanted suspense and tension. And that was not what I got. And again, I'm not saying that like what I got was horrible, but it was not what I wanted based on like the previews and kind of how I felt like they were selling it to me.
You wanted twisty like a big staircase?
Yeah, it's all that freaking staircase, Jesus.
Oh,
I also, we'll get there, but that entire house that he lived in, I honestly wanted like blueprints of this house because I actually in my mind could not figure out
where they were and stuff like that.
Where they were. I was like, where is this like living room on the second floor? And where are the bedrooms? She's like, I'm in the room at the end of the hall. I'm like, what fucking hall? Like, I was so confused.
I was confused.
I need the architectural design for this house.
Agree. I did not. So it's hard to explain my expectations because they were not super high because of how I felt about the silent C. I was questioning Gong Yoo's choices. I'm sorry for those of you who love the silent C. I could not love it. I could not love it less.
It's like our punching bag.
It is. I'm sorry. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
I was aiming mid, because I didn't want as far as I didn't want to be disappointed. So I was afraid to get like really high expectations.
Yeah.
But like in the back of my mind, I'm like, he's got to do me a solid here because I've been waiting. Like I compare everything he does now to Goblin, everything, because that's still my be all and end all. And I'll never stop loving Kim Shin. But yeah, I mean, I thought the trailers were cool. So I had some hopes. But after the first episode, I was getting a little iffy, but I'm like, I need to give it a couple of episodes. Like normally I'll give something 4 episodes, but that's half the drama. Right. And I even like thought to myself when I got halfway through, I was like, all right, well, we're just in this now. So like whatever happens, we're just in this. Right. But it didn't meet what I wanted out of it, even though I wasn't putting like all of my eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? Like it just, I wanted something to be like, yes, Gong Yoo is back. And I didn't feel like that with this. And it's his, he makes choices and he can choose to do whatever fulfills him creatively, but I need to be fulfilled too, Gong Yoo.
Gong Yoo, I need filled too.
Yes.
It's like me and Ji Chang-wook right now.
Yeah.
He just wants to be covered in blood every drama. And I'm getting other than The Sound of Magic. And I'm over it. And Welcome to Samdari, which wasn't good. I actually dropped it. I dropped it because it just like wasn't good.
So yeah, I guess like I can't put Goblin expectations on him anymore because nothing will ever be Goblin.
Right.
But now I'm wondering if anything will be close to Goblin for me. And this could just be me, right? Because I just want him to be Kim Shin and everything. And he shouldn't have to be Kim Shin and everything. Although I loved him in Train to Busan. So
correct.
Like there's still hope. Anyway, so that was a very like roundabout way of saying like I'm just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might have hit people. Well, we'll get to that too. But I mean, it hits everyone different.
Yes. I mean, we had our holiday live over the weekend, which was
with
so
the
much
Patreon.
fun. With the Patreon, hosted by Sarah and Grace from Afternoona Asks. And we talked a little bit about the trunk in when I was in my breakout room, and people really liked it. And I love that for everyone who liked it. It just wasn't what I was wanting, you know?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
How would you describe the general atmosphere of the trunk?
I think you said it. You said it first, didn't you?
Yeah, you could say it though.
Yeah, we all think it was bleak. It was bleak. This is the thing, is it was definitely there was definitely an artistic vision for this drama. Clearly there was a specific way this director wanted the show to look and the type of atmosphere. And I will say 100% it was atmospheric.
Yes, it was very atmospheric.
Like, you can't say it was bland, because I wouldn't call it bland.
It was not bland, but the bleakness for me, because I have to just toss this in here. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
I don't want to forget this. Part of the bleakness for me was in like the sort of cinematography choices of literally dressing the actors in the same muted colors as the background, as the set.
Gosh. Everything was like this muted, dark, muddy. All the colors were like muddy, dark neutrals.
Yeah.
Like, the only one who wore color was the ex-wife, which I thought was an interesting choice. And it was also slow. I'm talking. So again, if you understand, I mean, we all come into dramas with expectations, and it's hard when a drama is really far off of your expectation. Sometimes it's really hard to course correct. Okay. That's difficult. I know some people had issues with Mr. Plankton because of that, because they went in thinking it was a rom-com and then they got something different. So I totally get it. I wanted suspense. I wanted tension. I got tension, but it felt like a depressive weight.
Yes.
It didn't feel like where I get like the like butterflies in my stomach, like excited to see what happens next. This was just this depressive weight. They talked slow. They walked slow. I mean, I want, honestly, a word per minute count on this drama, because it was wild how slow they talked.
And with how few episodes there are, you end episode 1 not having a freaking clue why Gong Yoo is going into this contract marriage when he clearly wants to get back together with his ex-wife, and she's making him do it. Like, it's very odd. I mean, it gets explained, but it's very odd in the beginning.
Yeah.
And no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. When this was over, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit. I don't think you asked this question, so I'm going to say this. When I finished watching this, I thought, man, this would have been a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been a really good movie. 8 episodes was way too damn long to carry an audience with this atmosphere, in my opinion. I just think it was too slow, and it felt like, because we've talked a little bit about K movies. Okay, we got a doozy of a K movie that we watched coming up. I think next week.
No, 2
weeks. Yeah. Okay, whatever. So it's coming up soon. We watched A Frozen Flower. I'll just tell you right now. So get ready.
Oh, it is coming a week after this episode.
Yeah,
yes,
we're talking about a Frozen
looking way
Flower.
in the future. We are. It's not even Christmas yet, and
yeah. So
we know when things are airing.
Korean movies take different risks that like K dramas don't, and so the kind of like relationships between the characters, a lot of it felt movie-ish to me. And so I just feel like it would have made a good movie. And I think my expectations would have been different then too.
Yeah, I think it could have worked really well as a movie. There was, like, speaking of it going slow, there are a lot of silences, like not just like slow talking, but a lot of silences, and a lot of, like, you could tell that the director or cinematographer really liked the look of space between characters.
Yes.
Yeah. And having characters like be sitting like 10 feet apart or standing 10 feet apart and just staring at each other.
A lot of staring. A lot of silent staring.
A lot of silent staring.
And it was and I remember I was
maybe
like,
I just don't have the attention span for this vision. And that's okay.
It felt like sometimes when I was watching it, it felt a little like, sometimes I see like Instagram reels and it's like an artist in a modern art museum and she's describing her art and all I see is like a swiggle on the wall. But she's like saying that it is talking about like the evil of capitalism or something.
I think we're just not sophisticated enough.
Does that make sense?
Drama.
That's what I felt like when I was watching The Trunk. I was like, this feels like modern art that I don't understand.
Give me My Sweet Mobster.
Yeah, like,
sorry, no.
Give me getting locked in a freezer and then cuddling like penguins. Like, give me that. Okay, I can't deal with this slow.
We know that's not what this was supposed to be.
I know.
We know. I'm aware. But yeah, I mean, maybe Megan and I just don't have the sophistication for this. And I'm not saying that like facetiously. Like maybe we just don't.
I know. That's why
I'm okay to own that. I'm okay to own that I am not sophisticated enough to appreciate what some other people have been appreciating about this drama.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this is a short drama, so not a lot to discuss without getting spoilery. So let's briefly talk about the NM company and share some non-spoilery thoughts. So NM is a marriage for hire company. What are some reasons in K-drama land why somebody might need a wife or husband for hire?
Apparently, different sexes cannot live together, so a la because this is my first life, they need to hire a spouse. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say it wasn't what you asked, but
no, that's exactly what I was asking.
No. What I'm going to say next isn't what you asked. I wanted way more about this company. Like, they teased about this company and then never delivered. I was like, no, I need way more about this marriage contract company. Like, how do people learn about it? How did it start? Like, I need way more information, and they didn't give that to me.
And they talk about the manual all the time, but like we never see the freaking manual.
I wanted more information on this man. Yeah,
like she's not allowed to like wear mourning clothes for his father's funeral. That's in the manual.
It wasn't in the manual, and I was like, where is this man? What else is it? How come we never saw? I guess I wanted the manual to be something else. Like, I think I wanted that to be some like kind of cool twist. Then I was like, oh, I guess it was just like a paper manual. I guess like you never showed us.
In a trunk.
That's hidden in it. Like, what the fuck? Okay, no, I'm not doing well already.
I know.
Okay,
we're not yucking on anybody else's yum. We did not.
I'm trying
that.
Yeah,
we are just two simple gals who like a simple story.
No, that's the thing. I went all in depth with Mr. Plankton.
I know. Just not every drama is for everyone.
Yeah.
Just like not every book is for everyone. I know that.
Yeah.
So in real life, could you conjure a reason for a spouse for hire?
God, I don't know. Insurance? Probably health insurance. It's literally. I'm serious.
I'm getting, well, so I want a spouse for when I have car trouble.
Yeah.
Which has been like the story of my fucking life for the past week.
Yeah.
When I'm driving home with the check engine light on and my car is shaking and the dealer can't get me in until Monday. And I'm like, who's going to pick me up on the side of the road if my car dies? I got no one.
Spouse for hire.
Where is
NM?
Right.
This is why we need NM.
Like, I don't want to live with a spouse, but I want a partner. I want a partner for emotional reasons. Of course I do. Mm-hmm. But I also want that for practical reasons.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hate being like that typical like female stereotype who doesn't know jack shit about cars, but I don't know jack shit about cars.
I don't either.
It made me feel better when I had a flat tire last week, when I was telling you guys about it and about how like I went to go fill my tires because it was cold and we always have low tire pressure when it's cold in Chicago. And so I was going to fill my tires. And so I went to fill my tires and the the air hose deflated my tire instead of filling it. So it was a valve issue. And I'm telling you guys about that. And Leah's like, I don't understand anything you just said. I've never filled my tires once in my entire life.
Yeah, I was like, I have. Not very often, though. I usually, like, right now, his car has low tire pressure because it's freaking cold. Like,
yeah. But that made me feel a little bit better that I'm not, like, completely useless when it comes to cars. But I feel mostly useless. And so I would want a spouse to deal with car stuff.
Yeah.
I just want I want to date a mechanic. A mechanic who's also a housing contractor.
Yes.
To deal with house stuff.
Yes.
You just I want you to know how to snake my drain.
Mm-hmm. Snake my drain. Lay my pipe.
And, check my powertrain.
Fix my undercarriage.
Yep.
Oh, funny.
Give me a tune-up.
Change my oil.
Check me with your dipstick.
Snorted. Oh, God. Okay.
I'll stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just talk about some character first impressions. And I'm going to get to our villain later, and we're just going to talk about the two couples. So what were your thoughts on Han Jung-won, who's Gong Yoo, No In-ji, who's the wife for hire, Seo Hyun-jin, Lee So-yeon, played by Jung Yoon-ha, and that's Gong Yoo's ex-wife, or Jung-won's ex-wife, and Yoon Ji-oh, played by a newcomer. I looked him up, like he hasn't done anything. Like this was like his first big thing.
Oh, good for him.
Joey Gunn, because he was really good. Yeah. I really liked him. So what were your thoughts on our four mains?
Okay, so this is the beginning of the drama. Yes. So let's just say that. Han Jung-won, played by Gong Yoo, like he kind of just seemed a little pathetic. And I feel so bad, but it was just like
poor little rich boy.
And he was just like, he was so dependent. Like he was like, take me back. And I was
very
like,
clingy. Yeah.
Clingy, dependent.
Which when you get to later in the drama, you're like, why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
and I
we'll get to GMCs later.
Yeah, because I liked what they did with this character. I did. But No In-ji, I actually really liked her. I thought she was pretty cool at the beginning. Too. I thought she was really interesting. I wanted to know her backstory. I was like pretty into her. So-yeon, I mean, I didn't love her because, all right, I didn't. I mean, you're not meant to like her. Like, no. I mean, let's be real. They don't want you to like her. The
actress was fantastic.
Actress was great. I will say I agree. Sarah from Afternoona Ask had said she didn't love that, like, the woman who was sexual was, of course, the evil one.
Yes.
Like, the woman they show having sex is, like, the evil one. And I completely agree.
Like in episode 1.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, I was excited. I'm like, we're going to get down.
I know. I was like, we're going to sex scene. And then, but it does feel like the drama's like, ooh, look at this tawdry woman.
Yep.
Sleeping with another man. And I was like, okay, have you seen Yoon Ji-oh? Have you, the character?
Right?
I mean, like, excuse me.
We've got a Noona romance going on here.
Noona romance. He is jacked.
He's gorgeous.
He just walks around without a shirt on for most of the drama. It's like, thank you. Yeah. So I guess like I once Sarah said that, I was kind of like, oh, you're right. Like you are meant to like look at her like that. And I do hate that. Like there are other reasons to dislike her. Trust me, not like sleeping. And she is technically married to this guy.
Yes.
And she's sleeping with him. It's like, okay. So, I mean, I don't know.
Right.
So yeah. And Gio, I thought he did a good job. I think I could tell he was a little new.
Yeah.
But, he had to do a lot of like great glarer.
I liked him. I really did. I want to see more of him.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, granted, like Jung-won has a traumatic past and I get he's got some emotional boo-boos.
We don't know the traumatic past though.
You don't know. So
we just think he's kind of pathetic.
We just think he's pathetic, a pill popper.
Right.
poor little rich boy who works as a music producer, even though it's his friend's company and his friend is like losing money right and left on this company. And is like, Jungwon, why don't you just buy the company and like own it? And he's like, no, I just want to work here.
Yeah, that whole thing
so
is
weird. So weird. I liked Inji a lot. She intrigued me and I wanted to know more. I was very into her story, and I thought her story actually unfolded pretty well as far as like peeling back the layers and wanting to understand why she got into this line of work. Like,
agreed.
I thought that was well done. I mean, I have some thoughts about the situation, but like, I thought that was well done. Yeah. Soyeon, I thought she was, Jung Yoon Ha, like she's a gorgeous woman. And she was getting some with a younger man, and I was very excited for her. But yeah, I hate that they also made her a villain. And
she had the best clothes though.
Yeah,
of the whole drama.
Yeah, she did. She didn't blend into the woodwork.
No, she had great clothes.
Yeah, and yeah, agree. Like Gio, I want to see more of that actor, Joey Gunn. He was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit into this, but not all of it. Right. Okay. So just without spoiling the nitty gritty details of the reasoning behind it.
Okay. I get it.
What is just the baseline reason? What does she want? Because Soyeon wants something out of Jungwon marrying a contract wife for a year.
So I think, well, first she wants to punish him.
Yes.
And then she wants him to basically come back to her and worship her. Yeah. Right? Is that what you would say? Like she wants him.
She wants proof that she wants proof that he worships her.
Yeah.
Even if she puts another woman in his house.
Yeah. She wants proof that it's her that he wants. And he's going to put her first above everything. And she doesn't want this in a healthy way. She wants him.
No, it's very toxic.
Yeah. It's extremely toxic. And yes, she wants him to be obsessed with her, basically.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of toxic, it's time for our K-pop Rec of the Week, and we're gonna give this one to Amy.
So, ever since Megan did her K-pop Rec for Apate with Rosé and Bruno Mars, I have been going down a Rosie rabbit hole, and I love Rosé so much. And her most recent song release from her album with a video is Toxic Till the End, and I love it so much. And as soon as I watched the video, I like messaged Megan. I'm like, this is so Taylor Swift coded. I love it so much that it made me then be like, does Rosé love Taylor Swift? And she does. And she does. And she's asked Taylor Swift for advice before. And I love that. I love that she's like paying homage, because if you haven't watched the Toxic Till the End video, it's very much blank space. Taylor, a totally different way. Like I would say it is like the skater boy version of blank space.
It is. There's a different vibe because Rosé is not Taylor. But I would think if you like Taylor Swift, you're going to absolutely love like that. That's kind of your vibe. But Rosé obviously is her own person and her own personality. Yes. So Toxic Till the End is such a good song. Like Rosé is killing it.
It's so good. Yes.
So happy for her. Did
you see her on Jimmy Fallon? I was like so excited. Yeah.
I saw she was amazing on Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
I'm so happy for her because the music she is putting out. I actually just drove my daughter home from hockey and APT came on and both of us sang at the top of our lungs, like on the way home, because it's so good. So yes, Toxic Till the End is fantastic.
And we will post in the show notes a link to the video because you have to watch it if you haven't. It's so good. It's so fun. It's what I always want music videos to be. Like I want it to be a story along with the song, and that's exactly what it was. Done so well. So yeah, Toxic Till the End by Rosé off of her solo album Rosie.
Yeah. So we're going to get into spoilers now because, well, it's a short drama. Okay. There's not much we can talk about. And there is a lot to talk about. Yes. I mean, there were 8 episodes and a lot of things happened. Do I think all of those things needed to happen? No. Again, I think this would have been a great movie. But it was 8 episodes, so we're going to talk about them. So the first is
I was gonna say, I have a question. I'm not going to ask it yet. I'm just letting you know. I have a question that isn't on here that I just thought of. So I want to ask it after the GMCs.
okay. Make sure you write it down. Don't forget it. What is No NG's GMC, goal, motivation, and conflict? We've talked about that many times. For signing on to be a bride for hire with NM. I guess we can get into her background now.
Yeah.
And kind of talk that out. So I thought her background was pretty cool. I thought she had a very unique backstory. So, well, if I can get into it. So basically, she had been engaged to be married to a bisexual man, but they were he was bisexual. The drama led me to believe that they very much loved each other and they wanted to be married. Just because he was bisexual didn't mean he didn't love her.
Right.
Right.
Isn't I have some thoughts on that. I have some thoughts on that later. Yeah.
But
no, I mean, like we'll get to that. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the impression I got, though, that like they actually did want to get married or they did get married. I think that was kind of weird. So, but her like mother found out that he was bisexual, and her mother thought that was evil and bad and horrible, and leaked the information that he also liked men. So, that whole thing was like, okay. But the real trauma, though, was that he left her. Like, I mean, he didn't say bye.
He just disappeared.
Just disappeared on her. And she's been like looking for him. But obviously that broke her. I'm sure that was really hard too, because she then didn't have a support system from her family, because obviously she's furious at her mother. Doesn't have her husband, feels anchorless. And so this is where I think things got kind of weird, because I didn't fully understand. She then is approached by NM and they're like, we think you would be great at contract marriage. And she's like, yeah, sure. It's a job. I don't really care about marriage or believe in marriage.
Right.
And I need money because she's basically looking for her husband or ex-husband or whatever he is. He's like in another country and she's like tracking him and stuff like that.
Yep.
So the contract marriage, I think, I mean, to actually nail down the GMC, I think is hard, because I think her goal is her goal, I think, is to find her ex-husband. I think that's her main goal.
Yeah.
And I think her motivation is she wants closure.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. I don't think she is in love with him anymore in that way.
Years. It's been years now.
It's been like 5 years or something.
Yeah.
So I think she wants closure. And the conflict obviously is now she's engaged in this contract marriage and she finds herself having feelings for Hong Jong-wan. Mm-hmm. So she's getting involved in his life while she's also got this ex-husband somewhere. And then her another conflict is she has a random stalker, which we'll get to.
Yep.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yep. Very good. All right, so I'll do Soyeon's full GMC for making Jungwon enter into a 1-year contract marriage. So now we will get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was hard to watch. Some of the stuff was...
Yeah, the trigger warning. Like there is we've got pregnancy loss. Like there's some rough stuff.
There is.
So Jungwon comes from an abusive background. He had a terrible father who's in a coma for the entirety of the 8 episodes until he finally dies. But his father was abusive, which led to his mother's death. And he feels like, this is what I got from his early relationship with Soyeon, is that it seemed like if he was able to have this nuclear family that he never did, that would be his healing. And so he wanted wife and baby. And she got pregnant because that's what he wanted. But she didn't really want it. And she started realizing that late in the pregnancy. And so
her water is breaking and she's like, shit, I don't want this baby.
Yeah. So she walks into traffic, gets hit by a car, Jungwon sees this and knows that she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
That this was not an accident. And in the emergency room, he tells the doctor, save the baby. Like, that should be your first priority, save the baby. And she hears this. So that from there is born her goal, motivation, and conflict, right?
Yeah, because she wants to be the priority, not the baby. And I think that was one of the reasons she didn't want the baby in the first place. I think she knew that
because she wasn't number one. Yeah,
she wants to be number one.
She's
toxic as hell.
She toxic as hell. She dumps his ass.
Yeah,
divorces him, and says, "I will take you back in a year, but you have to do this marriage first." But she doesn't just put a random woman in his house. She puts a woman that he knows from college, that you could tell he had a passing fancy of her. Like, nothing ever happened with them, but you could tell that he was interested in her. And So Yeon knew that he was interested in her. And when she saw her, like, I don't know, it was like on the roster or whatever at NM, she's like, this'll fuck with him. And so she puts because she's like, if he chooses me over this woman that he wanted like 10 years ago or whatever, then I'll know that he wants me. Conflict is he falls in love with NG.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. She's better. So what is Jisoo's GMC for becoming a contract husband? Because I thought this was an interesting
Wait, do you mean Jongwon or you mean
No.
You mean Geo?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying it wrong.
It's okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, and did I forget to put Jungwon on here? Yeah, we'll put Jungwon. We'll put Jungwon. Sorry, I totally forgot. But let's do Jungwon and then Geo.
Okay, so what is Jungwon's GMC for becoming what's his GMC?
What's his GMC? What does he want?
I mean, this was hard. I mean, the poor guy, I think, just wanted to be happy. But I do think he wanted a family. So he's living, it's wild because he still lives in the house that he grew up in. And his father was incredibly abusive and had cameras up all over the house, including in this massive chandelier. Like, that was a source of the cameras to watch the mother. And the mother, by the way, was like a prisoner in the home. I mean, he abused her sexually. He beat her. He beat Jongwon. I mean, he sounded just like an actual like evil person. And I do think he thinks they'll be healing if he has like a full family. And I think he latched on to Soyeon young because he didn't have confidence. He wasn't a strong person. I would say mentally because of the abuse he endured.
Yeah, she took charge.
Yeah, and so I think that's why he latched onto her because she was very take charge, very alpha. And I think he saw that as comforting at the time. But I think probably what he did is he essentially found the female version of his father and just didn't realize it. She didn't beat him, but she definitely mentally abused him. I mean, yes. She would give him pills. She thought she knew what was best for him. She was like content to keep him as like her little pet in this like big house that was creepy. But yeah, his conflict is NG comes in and he's like, all right, I only have to endure this for a year and I'll get my wife back. But then NG like shows him that there's like, he's never seen a normal relationship. Like, this is the thing about the poor guy. He like does not know what a normal relationship is.
No,
he didn't grow up with it. And then he had like crazy
toxic till the end wife. Yeah.
He had toxic till the end wife. And so NG comes in and she basically shows him like a different way to live, a different way to be treated. And that's a conflict because that's like messing with his life. Because he can't just like, he can't go back then. Like, it's like, I feel like she like chemically alters something in his brain. Do you know what I mean? He's like rust and he can't go back or whatever. I don't know. Name a chemical reaction. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's completely changed once he realizes how normal people react, because I think NG did have a healthy relationship with her husband before.
It was adorable.
Everything went to hell, and I think he truly loved her and she truly loved him. I think just external circumstances ruined them. But anyway, I really did like that. I love how she kind of like blew up his life and he was so resistant to it because he didn't know any better. I mean, that's scary to realize that everything you knew was horrible.
What was not good.
Right. Yeah, what's not good. I think once he realizes So-yeon is so toxic, he's like, holy shit, I can't believe I let this go on as long as it did. And also, how am I going to move on? I need So-yeon. Like he actually like says that at the very beginning. He's like, I need you. I can't live without you. And it's like, buddy,
even after she kills their baby.
Oh yeah, he's like, I love you.
Did not. Yeah, that was all he had.
Yeah, so it was kind of I did like what they did with his character a lot, and I like what they did with her character as well. Like again, there are things I do love about this, or I don't know, love, but things I really do like about this drama, and that was one of them.
Done well, yeah, absolutely. Characterization, I would say, is done very well.
Yeah,
I just think the execution of the story is what tripped us up a little bit.
Yeah, I have like things I want to talk about that I think could be improved for sure.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Gio's GMC, our for hire husband, which I thought was a good twist because you didn't know that at first, that he was a husband for hire.
Yeah.
And when you find that out, I was like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere here.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting for him was, so he works for NM. He didn't used to be a husband for hire. He used to be security.
Right.
And when No G was getting stalked, her stalker killed somebody, like killed another guard, like right in front of him. And he was not able to protect that guard. Mm-hmm. And so he gets involved with this whole debacle here as sort of like a protection scheme kind of thing. Not intending. So his goal is to basically like redeem himself in the eyes of NM and because he feels guilty. And so he's basically wants to redeem himself. His motivation is the fact that he was not able to save that guard. And so he's going to, hopefully save NG, help save this marriage, like whatever. Conflict is that he falls in love with So-yeon.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
I think he just likes the nookie, but
yeah, he did it all for the nookie.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to add before we get to our villain is, should the chandelier have had its own credit? Should it have had its own credit in this drama?
Honestly, the drama should have been called The Chandelier.
Like, I actually don't. Does the chandelier have a GMC?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about the trunk. I give a shit about the chandelier. Honestly, hear me out, the chandelier. The chandelier.
Somebody said that in our Patreon. Somebody said the chandelier. The chandelier. No, the staircase. Or did they say the staircase?
They said.
No, maybe it was the chandelier. I don't know. Either way, hear me out. The chandelier.
Hear me out. The chandelier. Yeah. So the chandelier had more going on in the trunk. That's basically what I think.
Yeah, because she was like, So-yeon was spying on NG and Jungwon from the chandelier cameras.
Yeah, the chandelier to me had a lot of symbolism that I feel like they maybe wanted for the trunk. I mean, the trunk had some symbolisms too, but I feel like the chandelier was just very interesting. I like that, and so many times the characters would just stand there and stare at the chandelier for like a good 30 seconds. Like that was like, I want to count how many minutes there's someone staring at the chandelier and like add that up. It might be a whole episode.
Probably. Yeah. Cut it down to 7 episodes now if we take out the chandelier staring.
Yeah. It's only 7. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we do have a villain other than So-yeon. We do have we have a stalker, because let's add that to the mix. Tae-sung. What's his GMC for doing all the stalking and murdering? And I will say he is played very creepily by Kim Dong-won.
Oh, Kim Dong, creepy as fuck. Like,
he's done very well.
Nailed it.
But like,
is there a GMC? No.
I mean, he just wants NG. He wants NG.
He admires her. It's like, okay, where did you meet her? Like, we have
NM. No, NM. He worked at, so I had to Google this. So correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but I had to, because it was lost on me in all all of the hoopla going on in this drama I had to Google, how did Tae-sung know In-ji? How did he know In-ji? And I believe that he was security for NM.
Okay.
And then fell for her. And then and then obviously went rogue. Because that's why NM is all about like dealing with Tae-sung. Because he was one of theirs. That's why they sent him to a psychiatric hospital instead of pressing charges. But I had to Google that because I was like, where did he even come in? I don't even remember.
I don't understand why we needed. Someone was like, well, I think I saw this on, it was like a comment on Instagram, but they were like, well, we needed the stalker because that's like, I don't know. They're like a plot reason. Whatever
because they also tried to make this a whodunit.
Yeah, I didn't need that. Like,
no.
This is my biggest thing. I know, again, no shade to Kim Dong-won, who played this character. Like, he was great. This isn't him. Okay. Like, it wasn't like I didn't like it because I just do not understand why we had this body with a trunk. And
we knew who the dead body was, like, almost
they let
less
us know
than halfway through.
Correct. They let us know who the dead body was too soon. So then I didn't really care because he's the villain.
Right.
So I just don't. This is the thing. It felt to me like the story they wanted to tell and the characterization that they wanted to get across. We got that without the stalker. We didn't need the stalker. We didn't need a lost trunk. I actually don't like
the story, like the stuff that came out in like the police interrogations for trying to figure out who murdered Tae-sung. It did not push the story forward at all. The only thing that I got from it is what I'm asking in the next question, which is like the trunk significance.
Well, can I also say this?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like some writer was like, hey, what if we have a drama that opens with finding an expensive trunk and a dead body? And then this other writer's like, well, I have this half-written thing about these two people in a contract marriage. And they're like, okay, let's combine it. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like these were two different dramas that you're trying to. Does that make sense?
You could have just had the relationship stories and that would have been enough.
100%. You could have had the relationship stories without the trunk. Or without like the missing trunk, the dead body. We didn't need the dead body. Like, I still don't understand why we needed the dead body and why we needed the stalker. Like, none of what you're trying to tell.
His whole way to blackmail NG was like, I want the trunk that has the manual for what you do for NM, and I'm gonna hold that over your head.
Well, I was like, who
or else I'm gonna let everybody, or I'm either gonna kill Jung-won, or I'm going to be the holder of the manual so that I can expose you at any time for what you do. Is it scandalous to be a bride for hire?
Yeah, that's why I was like, expose who? Who gives a shit? Who are you exposing? What are you exposing?
Right.
And like a random stalker wanting your new paramour dead isn't unique and thrilling. Like, I guess I just am like, I don't know. Like, I'm still really kind of irritated because decide what you want to do. Do you want to be a drama that's going hard into the characterization, which was the best part of the drama, in my opinion?
Yes.
The characterization of these two people who are overcoming massive trauma together, who are relearning themselves and who they can be. Do you want the drama to be that, or do you want the drama to be the suspense drama that tries to be like artsy with the trunk and a dead? I guess, you know what I mean?
It was trying to be too many things.
So I'm sorry. That is probably my biggest beef with this drama. And that's why and if you watch this drama and you liked it, I'm going out on a limb here and saying most of the people that really like the drama like the characterization. That's what you were into.
Yes.
That's what
that's what was done very well.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I wanted a million more of that. Like, what I didn't want was the stalker stabbing her ex-husband. I didn't need that like nosy neighbor who kept coming over to feed the fish. I don't give a shit about that. Like,
I worked for NM and was like just checking, like she was an NM employee too.
Yeah. Why?
Here's the thing. Also, Tae-sung, like blatantly out in the open threatening people, and nobody's telling the cops. Like she claims that she went to the cops before, but they couldn't do anything because he hadn't hurt anybody. But like
he killed like someone. But
he's like in their house.
Yeah,
they invite him into the house.
I don't get it. I just don't. I don't understand what the point was in that. I think that's where this drama started to lose me. And that was the problem, is that once you lose me, then it's hard for me to like give a shit about like what you're trying to make me care about, which is like, you know what I mean? Like the nitty gritty
and details. Like the super artsy dreams.
Don't get me started on the dreams. I hated the dreams.
Like
I honestly
drowning in his bed, smothering her with a pillow.
Why? What was the point of that? What? Tell me.
I'm sorry.
The anger, and I'm sorry to keep comparing it to Mr. Plankton because it's a completely different drama, but Mr. Plankton had these kind of like visions and dreams that were so important to the characterization and the plot growth and the meaning. And then you get his stupid ass, like drowning dream. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, of course, there's symbolism of drowning, blah, blah, blah. But I mean,
what about the one where he dreams that he's smothering her in the next bed?
What is, like, where did that come from? I was like, Jungwon has never even been violent. Where are we getting that? And what?
Oh my God.
Is it the pills? I don't know. What's going on? What are you taking, man? Acid? I don't know.
Oh my God. Soyeon sending him the sonogram with the pills taped to the back.
Yeah. Psycho. God, my voice is getting high. I'm starting to get mad.
I know. Okay. So sorry. I want to give props.
Yes. I think we have.
Yeah. Like I did like this. So there were two trunks in the drama, right? So there's the trunk that's found with Tae-sung's dead body. And it's the trunk that he was trying to get Inji to unlock, and because she had the manual in it. But what we find out at the end is that he brought Inji the wrong trunk, and that her trunk is still in the closet at Jungwon's house. Mm-hmm. And what was really in the trunk was the baby clothes. And they only show you that at the end,
the very end,
when you've got Soyeon in the interrogation room, and they're like, everything's still intact if you want it. And she opens the trunk and sees all the baby clothes, and she starts crying. And which I think was good because it humanized her.
Yeah.
Like it humanized her. It showed that she knows what she lost in doing what she did. And I thought that was artfully done. I liked that.
Yeah, I really liked that. I kind of got the feeling there were two trunks. That wasn't like, it was a surprise though that he had the wrong trunk.
Yes, they didn't look the same, because like when he brought her that trunk, I'm like, that's not the one that she, like hers was colored differently. Like,
I actually didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I did like the idea that the baby clothes were in Soyeon's, and then the manual was in
Inji's.
I think I would have liked, again, I think we were missing some of the details about NM that I think really could have rounded this out better. I almost feel like the writers didn't know, so they just didn't. But I would have liked more of that, and also more about, like, yes, there are some things that I'm okay interpreting, but I feel like they made such a big deal about the manual, and then it didn't feel like there was any sort of like closure with this manual.
No, because again, so when his father finally kicks the bucket, and he wants her at the funeral, right? Jungwon wants her at the funeral, but she's like, I can't, according to the manual, I'm not allowed to, like, she gets him all ready. She ties his tie for him. And then she's like, I gotta split. Like, I'm not supposed to be here according to the manual. And then all of a sudden she walks out in mourning clothes with like the bow in her hair or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no consequence. Like, what happens if you go against the manual? Like, there was no consequence. So I don't understand what the point was of her being like, I can't be here. And then ta-da, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone say on Instagram that like, which I'll get to this because they said it made me remember the time that I stopped following my manual. Like they really internalized it. And I love that for them. I truly do. I'm not saying that. I feel like that sounded condescending. That's not how I'm like really happy that someone was able to relate to that.
Yes.
And I guess if we're gonna, I mean, so it kind of did make me think a little bit. I'm like, okay, so maybe the manual is like more symbolic. Like it was like things.
Agree.
Maybe it was almost like her manual, things she didn't. Because in the end, she definitely went off manual.
Yes.
Like absolutely.
Because her being there for him was definitely like an emotional thing. It wasn't.
Yeah, like she continued to definitely buck against the manual. Like she definitely was going against the manual. She was going against her own rules that she had set. Or maybe they were the company rules, but they were definitely rules that she felt were important. She felt that she felt they were lines that she shouldn't cross. Yeah. And then she began to cross them for him.
You know, and I think would have been great.
What?
Is if we open her trunk at the end and there is no manual.
This is my point. Like, you gave us. Thank you, Amy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We needed something to like show us. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll interpret it that way. Like maybe there really was no manual.
It's her manual of how to stay detached so that she doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah. But it would have been cool if they would have showed her opening the trunk and it was empty. That would have been cool as shit. That really would have.
That's what I'm going to guess is that it's empty.
Yeah.
After I go off on my tirade, why is there no consequence? Because there is no manual.
Yeah. Because
I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I did think the two trunks was done well. So
I thought that was cool. I did like that, and I did really like the baby clothes. The idea that because I did kind of I will say like I think I gasped a little when she opened it up and there were baby clothes. I definitely had a visceral reaction to that.
So, did you recognize Inji's ex-husband Do-ha as the architect CEO tree that I, Amy, wanted to climb from Rain or Shine? Both played by the 6'4" Woo.
So I did not. I was like, he's familiar. I definitely have seen him somewhere, and I didn't know where. And then when you said that, I immediately was like, oh my god, it's him. It's just his hair is so much different.
But he's so good looking. Like I can't. He's so good looking.
I thought he looked a million times better in this drama.
I loved his hair. Like the wavy, floppy hair. Like that is my thing. He was gorgeous in Rain or Shine, but he was. Like his look in Rain or Shine was very buttoned up because he was supposed to be like buttoned up emotionally.
Yeah, he was like this damaged bisexual with great hair. Delicious. I was very into him. Very.
It's funny though because I did not notice his height as much.
I didn't either. I remember him being effing
a giant
huge in Rain or Shine. I wonder if it's because he was next to Lee Jun-ho, where here he was next to Gong Yoo or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Because otherwise, I feel like I would have known right away if he was just towering over everybody.
I think that was,
yeah. Okay, so here's my beef.
Yeah, I want to hear Actually, I'll ask a question. Was making Woo's character Do-ha bisexual a step forward or backward for LGBTQ plus rep in K-dramas?
A huge step backward, because here we had rep, and then we make it very salacious that he's bisexual.
So salacious. I mean, yeah, wild.
Why? Like, why? Why? He's a beautiful bisexual man. Can we just leave it at that?
Yeah.
Who chose to marry a woman?
That's it. I mean, there really was no, again, like they were in love. Like she wasn't like a beard or something. Like they were.
No, I mean, they had flashbacks and they were adorable together.
Yeah.
It made me ship her back with him.
It kind of did.
You know,
they were great
because they were really great. Like she was a totally different person, and I get how him disappearing changed her.
Yeah.
She thought that he took his own life, and she was just. I mean, when they finally had their reunion, their sort of closure or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, she flat out told him, like, "I'm just glad that you decided to live."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm glad you continued to live."
But what I didn't like is the whole like him blaming her.
it was a weird conversation.
It was a weird thing because she never made him feel any less for being bi that I noted.
Part of me feels like some of that conversation didn't translate.
Bad translation. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there might have been some cultural nuances in the translation that we
missed.
Because it seemed weird. Like I was a little like, yeah, I'm not sure what was going on fully in that conversation where they had the closure. Yeah, I wasn't thrilled. I was kind of like, oh, they have a bisexual guy. This is cool as shit. And for a while too, I didn't quite understand until they did some flashbacks. I thought maybe he had cheated on her, which I don't care who he cheats on her with.
Right.
That's bad. But no, they were just showing previous relationships he had with men. That was what the mom found. And then posting them. And it's like, okay, he had a previous relationship. Like, who cares? But it was like...
And it gets posted like across like the offices.
Yeah, I was like, what
network while he's sitting at work. Well, because remember it was Taesung who like sent it to her mom or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it was Taesung.
Because he was basically just terrorizing her.
Yeah, I know. I didn't love it. No. I mean...
I love him. I love Ikiwoo. I think he played like the small part because he wasn't in it a lot, but I think he played it well.
Oh, yeah.
The emotional damage.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
Beautiful. I love him. Put him in more things.
100%. I thought he did really well.
But as soon as I saw him, I was like, who is this beautiful man? I know him.
Well, I also like the amount of times she went back to like visit the apartment, and I just feel like there was a lot of nothing scenes.
Who's paying for that apartment?
I don't know.
Like, who did GS taxes? Like, who's paying for this apartment?
I know. Well, I thought they said he was still paying it, but I could be wrong. I don't think
maybe I missed that. But like, they're just this random apartment is so she had a place to stay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and also the other couple, the ones where the owner of the music studio and his wife who had the kids.
Yeah.
So first of all, like I think Sarah had said this from Afternoona Asks, and I agree. Like props to showing that motherhood is like really tough, and sometimes you just want to leave. Like,
yes,
totally relatable. But I feel like I still don't understand the purpose of that couple. Like, what was their point? And also, we never got closure with them. Like their last scene was
she wanted to leave. Right.
Her last scene was like, I want to divorce you, and then there was like no.
And I love that. I love that actress. She's from No Gay No Love.
I know, but they made her.
I love her. But like, you know what I'll say is, I liked the scenes with them until it got to the divorce part. I liked the scenes with them because it was like the realest stuff happening in the drama. Like it was like it was almost like it was a different drama. It was almost like it was a different drama because here's like a normal relationship.
Absolutely.
And there is some comedic relief.
Yes.
And normal colors in the scene, like in the scenery. It felt very odd.
It felt like who wrote their scenes was completely different, and they were writing in a different universe than what the rest of the actors were playing in. Because they were in like normal scenes with kids, and then all of a sudden you go back to like bleak, empty, giant house with Gong Yoo staring at a chandelier. I'm like, what is like the disconnect?
Yeah.
Was odd. It just because I would say like this drama felt like it was in its own universe. I do not feel like we could take those characters and put them in a modern society. Like this drama was like it
only exists.
Yeah, it only exists in the trunk.
In the trunk.
But that couple,
they could be anywhere.
They could be anywhere. They could be in any drama.
Yes. Thank you for like
they could have been in No Gay No Love.
Thank you for articulating that because it's every time their scenes would come out, I was like, oh, we got some normalcy here.
Yeah.
This just feels like a drama to me.
Because they were like written by someone else.
Yeah.
I'm convinced.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I like this question. Did you root for any of the characters in the drama?
I did. Yeah. I did. Yeah. I rooted for all of them. I actually did. Like I want not Taesung, but like I rooted for everybody else because I did want, like they all were coming from trauma and I wanted them all to have a happy ending or closure or like whatever. Like I wanted that for all of them. And so I did care enough to see the drama through to the end. I did care what happened to these characters.
I did too. So I, in the end, again, that poster on Instagram, that I mentioned, she said, it reminded me of when I, tossed my manual and also when I tore down the walls of my own house. Again, the symbolism that she got out of this drama, I thought I feel bad because I forget now who wrote it. It might have been K-drama binge on Instagram. I can't remember, and I'm really sorry. I should have saved it. So I really like that so Gong Yoo at the end, because this house is like his prison and he doesn't know it. Like,
this was actually a funny scene. I actually thought it was a funny scene.
Yeah, I mean,
because of what she said. Well, you tell it, then I'll tell you the part that I thought was funny.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't remember the dial. I just remember, he's like, I gotta move out. Like, or no, he's like, I'm gonna tear the house. He says it.
Yes,
I'm gonna tear the house down. And I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna rebuild. And she's like, she took like a sledgehammer. She picked up a sledgehammer and just like hit a wall. And she's like, it's gonna come down anyway.
So what was funny, what the part that you're forgetting, which I really liked, is so like, you know, hitting the wall with the sledgehammer, like that was symbolic or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't believe you're tearing the place down. She's like, I was just gonna suggest that you rent it out.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was funny. She did say that. Oh, right, because that's it. She didn't hit it first. He just picks up the sledgehammer and hits it, and she's like, oh, that's not what I meant. You're right. So I really do. I love the symbolism of that scene. I wanted to bring it up because I really like it. The idea of characters who decide to throw out their manuals, who decide to tear down the walls that are keeping them in their own life. I loved that.
Yeah.
And I loved it a lot. And
I actually, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, again, we're kind of beating a dead horse, but if the drama had focused on that,
mm-hmm.
I would have been way more into it. And I would have even been fine if it was like the atmospheric, bleak, blah, blah, blah. If you truly got into these characters a little bit more. And maybe you watched it and you felt like the drama did this. And that's great. I'm glad. Because then you got out of it what I wish I did. I just wanted more. I didn't need more. Let me be clear too. I'm not saying I needed more romance. I wanted like more characterization than we got. I wanted more scenes with them. I wanted even to see Gong Yoo's like journey more. Like, there was just so much I felt that could have been told. And instead we got scenes with like the stalker and all this shit that I just like, I don't care about. It had nothing to do with her manual. It had nothing to do with his journey.
I will say this. I loved the last episode. I loved the ending.
I did too. I love the ending.
He wanted her to stay. Like, after all was said and done, after, you know, nobody was, you know, neither of them were going to jail for killing Tae-sung. He wanted her to stay with him. And she's like, she knew that they weren't ready to be with each other. And so he said to her, he's like, okay, he's like, but if we have 2 chance meetings, like out in the wild, then that means that we're meant to be together. And then then it gets very K-drama, which I loved.
It did go full K-drama at the end.
They both showed that they could exist on their own. She got a dog, he got a cat. Like, they both showed that they were not codependent anymore.
Right.
And then they have a chance meeting. And
doesn't he say like, and that's one?
She says it because he's the one who makes the deal with her, and she doesn't actually agree to it.
Oh,
like, it's
you're
just
right.
It's just a sad like parting.
Yeah.
But they did need to part. Like, I'm totally fine with
I love
the third
that they
act breakup.
parted. Yeah.
They needed to part. And then when they see each other that one time, she says, this is one.
Yes.
And so then, you know, like, that's a beautiful ending. Like, I full on loved the last episode.
I did too. If any character needed to learn how to live by themselves, it both of those characters.
Yeah.
Both of those characters. Jungwon especially, he needed to start over, a new place, live by himself, not be dependent. Because if they would have right away moved in together, he just would have transferred how he felt. Or how I mean, it's hard not to fall back into old habits. So for him to just like emotionally depend on In-ji, he would have done that with her like he did with So-yeon. So I love the idea that she's like, no, you need to be by yourself and I need to be by myself. Because she did too. She like had just gone from like a heartbreaking marriage to these like contract marriages. So she hadn't even been on her own.
Never.
Yeah. And so I really did love the last episode as well. Like, that's the thing that the drama ended.
See, we liked a lot of stuff, you guys. We did.
I did, but that's the thing. Because I liked the last episode so much, I was like, God, this could have been better.
Right. Like I wanted the rest of the drama to live up to that last episode.
Yeah, and again, it didn't have to be full K-drama. Like but there was just a lot of disconnect. I think there was a lot of unnecessary stuff. A lot of unnecessary stuff that we didn't need. Because the last episode was the point of the drama. Like we already knew about for the most part, the trunk and all that stuff. We know who died. So the last episode was really focused on like their healing journey. And I guess I was like, God, I love this. So like, why didn't I get more of this? Instead, I got them shooting Tae-song in a lake or river.
With blanks, but with blanks.
With blanks. And then I was like, what is happening?
Yes, which brings me to the next question. Did you care who killed Tae-song?
No. No. And you know what? Tell me if you really cared who killed Tae-song, if you're listening to this, tell me. I'm curious. And why?
With a fencing sword. It was Gio, by the way.
It was Gio. That was a wild way to die, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they had to take him away in his handcuffs and his black hat. And I was like, you're still hot, Gio.
I know. Still hot.
And So-yeon's like, I'll wait for you. I'll hire you the best lawyer. I was like, So-yeon, you need therapy.
You need growth.
You're the one who. Let's get a sequel with So-yeon.
She at least untangled herself from Jungwon at the end. She's like, she has like an ovary explode or something like that, and leaves the hospital, and she's like, I want to live with Jungwon, and he's like, no, and
he let her come back, but it became very quick that he's like, I'm not that man anymore.
She's like, you can sleep here, but like this is nothing. Like,
yeah, we're not. Because she's like, are you going back with her? And I'm pretty sure they had. And he's just like, no, I don't need you. I don't need
right.
Like that's huge for Jungwon to be like, no, I don't need anyone.
Yeah,
like I need me. It was a beautiful ending.
A beautiful ending. Yeah.
For his character, and I thought it was appropriate for So-yeon too. And I do like that they didn't give her that like villain ending that's like she's just crying on the floor. Like, meaning I like that they gave her some dignity.
Yes.
Because she had like gone to his house and she's still like dressed in like drab clothes because she had just come from the hospital. And so I thought it was nice that they gave her an ending. I would say they did. I do feel like they were trying to redeem her a little bit. Like, I do feel like they kind of did a little bit of a 180 on us.
And I was like, baby. She killed the baby.
I was like, I don't know if we need to go this far, but I do like that she had to open the trunk of baby clothes. But like the whole thing where she's still trying to act like she's friendly with Jungwon as if she hadn't emotionally manipulated him for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Was a little wild. Like, I was like, let's
spied on him like his his father.
Like his emotional. Yeah. Like I was kind of like, to a degree, I liked her ending. To a degree, I think they might have tried to take it a little too far. I was like, you just gave us this bleak drama and all the things she did. And now, and like the girl fight in the elevator. Why? Why do we need that?
Yeah.
I didn't need that at all.
No.
What is a good comp? The Silent Sea.
No, so here's what I'm going to say. And I'm only one episode in to the drama that I'm going to give as a comp.
Okay.
But I'm going to say When the Phone Rings. And here's why. Here's why. So I've only watched episode 1 of When the Phone Rings. Have you watched any of it yet?
No. I mean, I will, but no.
Okay.
Like, it's on my list.
I've only watched episode 1 and I'm hooked. So
I will
say that.
I'm very excited.
So I will say it's a comp in that it is a strange marriage.
Okay.
It is dark. It is emotionally bleak. I don't think it's visually bleak, but it's emotionally bleak. And there is an air of mystery to it. I will say though, When the Phone Rings is very fast paced from episode 1. Hooked me right in. It's very different from the trunk, but also I think it's got some of those like same themes to it. Like, you don't know why these people are married at first.
Mm-hmm.
You find out a little bit like later in the first episode. It's still kind of weird. You don't know why they're married. You don't know why she has selective mutism, because you know that right from the beginning that she's a selective mute. You don't know why she has selective mutism. Yeah, you don't know what the traumas are. They're just beautiful people in a really weird situation. And I really like it so far. So I'd say it's a comp in that and I'm not saying I want the trunk to be when the phone rings, because it's totally different. But I am interested because there is a kidnapping situation in episode 1. I'm not going to give anything else away, but I am interested to see where that part of the storyline is going, because it had a very odd ending in that first episode. So that's all I'll say.
So if you like the whodunit aspect of the trunk, I would recommend Blackout. So I watched Blackout this year. I'm still trying to get Leah to watch it.
I don't think I'm going to. Just
what?
because it's violent, isn't it?
I mean, actually, the violence is not that bad.
Yeah,
There's
but
only
not that bad for you.
Well, yeah, but it's only like one scene.
Okay.
It actually then isn't like necessarily violent.
Okay.
But it's a little dark. But I will say Blackout had the driving tension that I wanted from the trunk, or that I thought the trunk was going to give me. I don't know if I necessarily wanted it from the trunk, because I actually just wanted more characterization or more focus on the characters. But Blackout had this like, I mean, I'm talking like I had to keep watching. It was like driving me forward to figure out what happened. Every single character has their own motivation. Like there are so many characters because it's like a whodunit in a small town. So there's a lot of characters, and everyone has a reason for what they did or what they didn't do, or whatever they're
I love
whatever.
that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and it's interesting when, because you have like one guy who went to prison for a crime that he swears he didn't commit. Okay, that's like the main crux of the movie, and that he's the main character. And so when he gets out of prison, and this is all like in the first episode. So when he gets out of prison, he's just like, he can't let it go, because he's like, I didn't do this. But he also doesn't know what happened. He's also not sure, because it all happened while he was blackout drunk. So he's just like, I know myself. Like, I know I wouldn't have committed this crime, but like, what if I did?
Right.
And so it is so freaking good. I loved Blackout. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But I think it goes a little, it also kind of goes off the rails at the end, not in a bad way. Just like what ends up like being the truth is just absolutely wild. But yeah, I really, really liked it. I feel like I don't talk about it enough, because there isn't. Sometimes we tend to focus more, like especially when we do trope talks, we focus on like the romance dramas.
Yeah.
And Blackout didn't really have one. Didn't really have a romance. So, oh man, but it was great. If you like that kind of thing, I recommend it. I think it's on Disney Plus or Hulu. I think. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I think it's on one of those. But look it up. It's called Blackout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the trunk? I feel like we've said a lot.
Yeah. Just, I mean, I thought I was going to come in here and hate it more.
Same.
And actually, as we've been talking about it, I'm like, no, there are a lot of things I really liked and a lot of things that were very good.
We didn't hate it at all.
We didn't hate it. And I don't think if you listen to this whole podcast, I think you can see that we didn't hate it. I think we had different expectations, but I also think there were things that we fundamentally wished were different in it. And yeah, and I think that that's okay. Nothing's perfect. It doesn't mean we didn't completely hate it. I would say there were times I disliked it while I was watching it. I will say that. I really do think the last episode redeemed it.
Yeah, the last episode was great. And the last episode reminded me of what I want from Gong Yoo.
Right? Oh,
like,
man.
Like, please, you don't have to be a goblin. You don't have to be a goblin, but like, I still have faith that you can give me a swoony story. And
I know.
I wasn't expecting that from the trunk by any means. Like, I'm not disappointed in the trunk because I didn't get a romance. Like,
Right. We did. Well, we kind of got one, sort of.
Yeah, we did. And that's what I loved about the end is I loved the romance of it. And I'm just putting it out there to you, Gong Yoo. Can you give me another romance?
I know.
Because you're so good in it. Because you're so good in it.
I miss the Gong Yoo charm, and it came through a little bit in like one episode where there was sort of fun. They sort of had a fun and games beat where they were like having a good time together and they were laughing, and Gong Yoo's charm was like coming through. But I'm telling you, they tried to smother his charm like he smothered her in his dream. I mean,
true.
You know what I mean? True. I really felt
because that last episode, he was so charming.
Yeah.
He was so charming.
They had to like work it out of him.
Yeah.
They didn't want that. His character wasn't supposed to be charming.
They beat it out of him with long stares from 10 feet apart. They were social distancing so hard in this drama.
Like, yeah, this wasn't COVID 6 feet. This was COVID 10 feet. Like, no one wanted COVID. No one's getting COVID in the trunk. Okay.
Like, I can't, sorry, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's making me think of it. So when she has the meltdown, when she gets off the bus and he's there waiting for her and she finally cries and he just stands there. She does the whole like drop down to a squat, like totally crying. Yes. And he just stands there staring. There is zero comfort.
He's like, sorry, I don't have my mask.
And it was so wild to me. Like I was waiting. I'm like, there's going to be like physical touch connection here. There's going to be like physical touch bringing them emotionally close together. And the scene ends with him just standing and staring at her. So I'm pretty sure that the next scene after the squat crying is them sitting across from each other on their beds in the same bedroom, like 6 feet apart, where she's telling him that she wasn't sad, that she was so happy that he was there. And that's why she reacted like that. And it was this very like, just sort of cold conversation of, I feel like it's something like that somebody would turn in for a project in film school.
Oh,
like
okay.
where she's just sitting and staring at him saying, no, I wasn't sad. And he was like, you weren't sad? That's not what it was like at all, but that's how it felt to me. Because it was a moment where there could have been like physical connection bridging that like emotional gap, and I didn't get it. And it was too much for me.
I know, I completely agree. I think they had sex. Like we saw, well, you know.
Yeah.
But then, but their actual like physical intimacy when they weren't in bed was like nil. Like I'm like, can you hold hands? Like
it was very cold. It was just very cold and distant. Like
and that's
physically
what I mean.
Distant. Yeah.
Well, okay. What's interesting is I just finished. I'm going to say this, and then we'll
wrap it up.
I just finished reading a book that I really liked. It was called 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. And it is about two people that start dating right before COVID and in Ireland. It takes place in Ireland. And 56 days later, one of them is dead.
Oh.
And that's like the mystery.
That sucks.
Yeah. And so the mystery, well, first of all, you don't even like know who's dead. Like the back of the book says one of them is dead, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know who this body is.
So this is not a romance.
No, but there is a love story.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as I'm reading it, it's not a romance. Okay. So that's not the way this writer writes. And I respect that. This is kind of like a suspense novel, a little bit of like a murder mystery kind of thing. But there is a distinct lack of intimacy in a book like this, in regards to the characters. So it was written in third person present, which is also very weird.
Oh yeah.
But, and again, I love this book, by the way. It's called 56 Days. It's really good. Like but there is I'm used to reading romance where there is like such an intimacy with the characters, no matter what tense or it's written in. Like I know how the character's skin feels. I know what their eye color is. I know what color their lips are. Like there's just an intimacy of characters that romance, and it's not, and I don't even mean sexual. I just mean,
Yeah.
romance writers know how to make you feel an intimacy with the character you're reading about. And I mean, like, if I'm reading the female point of view, I feel a connection to her. I feel an intimacy to her. I somehow can relate to her no matter who she is. And when I read books that aren't romance, sometimes it takes me a little bit to get used to that lack of intimacy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which I had to in this book because, like I said, I don't know what the female character looks like. No one ever describes her. Like, I seriously don't know what she looks like.
Wow.
All I know about
the connect to the trunk.
Yes, it is. All I know about the male character was he was like 6 foot, brown hair. So anyway, as I was thinking about the trunk today, it reminded me a lot of that book in that there was a lack of like intimacy that I felt with the characters that I get from and again, if you just gave me a whodunit murder mystery with the trunk, that's fine. But you didn't. You gave us like this like love story. You gave us this intimate characterization, or you wanted to give us this intimate characterization, this journey of characters. But there was like a lack of intimacy. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I was reading a book that was written by someone who isn't going for that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was distance. There was a lot of distance. And it manifested itself physically and emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's how I feel about it. I know that was a long-winded way to say it, but that's how I feel about it.
And we didn't hate the trunk.
No.
I feel like I like it more after talking about it, which I wasn't expecting. And so I'm happy for that.
Yeah. I actually do too. Again, when we started this, I was like, oh crap, this is going to be bad. I'm going to end up disliking it the more we talk about it, but it was the other way around.
Yep. So yeah.
See, that's why we talk about these things, because it's fun.
Yeah, we gotta talk it out.
We surprise even ourselves.
Because I think one of the biggest things that I got is my revelation of there is no manual.
Yeah. You came up with that on the fly.
And
I'm impressed.
I'm sure I'm not the first one to do it. Like, I'm sure that those of you listening are like, duh, Amy, there's no manual. That's why we never see it. But you know what? Okay. I had to get there on my own. Okay. And I did. And I appreciate it more for that.
Well, I actually didn't think, she would open the trunk and there would be no manual. But I wanted something that would give me the same feeling. Like, I did want that. Like, sometimes you want the visual cue. Sometimes you want that. And in this drama, I wanted it. So
anyway,
yeah, you're right. We liked it more than we thought. So there you go.
So
but we want to know what you think. So let us know.
And we'll see you next time. Listen to the next episode on Frozen Flower.
Oh God. And let's all hope Leah arrives.
Made it to Honolulu. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone.
Annyeong.
See you next time. Annyeong. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!